All right, guys, so for number 6, you're trying to find the distance between these two given numbers. So it's going to be the absolute value of -1, and you're going to subtract the next number. Okay, that's setup number 1. What you do from here is rewrite minus into plus opposite. So -1 plus the opposite of -16 is 16. Okay, a lot of you wrote -17 or -15. Both answers are inaccurate. Absolute value, since my signs are different, I'm going to take 16 and subtract 1, and I get an answer of positive 15. Now, a lot of you took this number and then you turned it into a negative. Absolute value is not, hey, let's take the opposite of this. Absolute value is saying, how far is this number to 0? Okay, it doesn't matter if you're on the negative side of the number line or on the positive side. What this is saying is, what is my distance? How many steps to 0? And my final answer is 15. 15 steps to 0. Okay, let's take a look at number 7. Come on, there we go. Number 7, we have -5.2 minus -3.1 plus 5.2. So a lot of you right out of the gate canceled these out. You noticed they were inverses. Great job. I'm happy you noticed inverses. But what you failed to recall was that minus negative changes not only this sign, but it changes the sign to the next number. So we get -5.2 plus opposite, so this becomes 3.1 plus 5.2. Now you can take these two numbers, notice that they're additive inverses. This is negative, this is positive, they go to 0, leaving you with simply 3.1. Done. Let's go to number 8. We have 32 plus -12 and 7/8. Okay, since my signs are different, I have to subtract these. So in class, I taught you to take the larger absolute value, put that on top, and the smaller absolute value goes on the bottom. Okay, at this point in time, a lot of you just brought the 7/8 down. 0 minus 7/8 is not 7/8. You can't take 7/8 away from nothing. So we have to rewrite this to look a little different. So this guy is going to become 31, and this is going to become 8/8. When you add these two up, you get 32. 8/8 minus 7/8 is 1/8. 8 minus 7 is 1. Keep the denominator. And then 31 minus 12, you get 19. Done. Positive, because this gives you a bigger absolute value than this. All right, let's take a look at number 9 here. Okay, number 9, -9.5 minus -8 minus 6.5. So -9.5, I want to turn this into plus. And when I turn this into plus, I want to take that to its opposite. Again, this is minus, so I want to turn this into plus, so I want to make this the opposite. I'm sorry if this is a little shaky. My arm really hurts like this. So some of you tried to add these two together. So if you're going to add these two together, you have to remember that 8 is the same as 8.0. So -9.5 plus 8.0 plus -6.5. So the first mistake that came up is that you guys took this 8 and subtracted it from the 5. This 8 is not a decimal. It's a whole number or an integer. So this 8 needed to be lined up with the 9. So if you were going to solve these two, you would take the 9.5, you're going to subtract, because the signs are different, and take the 8.0 and get 1.5 negative, since this is bigger absolute than this. So -1.5 plus -6.5. The second mistake a lot of you made, if you added this number plus this number, and it's going to be the same idea when I add these two. I'll show you. So I'm going to add now because the signs in this part of the problem are the same. So I'm going to add them up and put them together. 5 plus 5 is 10. 0, carry the 1. A lot of you stuck the 1 in here. We don't do that when we carry. You bring it up into the next place value. So 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. Decimal comes straight down. Since both signs are negatives, my answer stays negative. Final solution. All right, and let's take a look. Where am I going here? Okay, let's take a look at number 10. For number 10, we have 10 plus negative 3 and 3/8. My signs are different, so I want to subtract bigger absolute value minus smaller absolute value. So I'm going to take 10 and subtract 3 and 3 over 8. Again, I can't take nothing and subtract 3/8 from nothing. So you have to borrow and make this a 9, and this is going to become 8 over 8. 8 over 8 is worth 1 plus 9 is still 10. So I'm just rewriting the number 10 as 9 and 8/8. Now I can subtract my fractions. 8 minus 3 is 5 over 8, and 9 minus 3 is 6. Since the 10 is a bigger absolute value than the 3, I keep my answer positive. The end. Go get yourself a copy of the quiz and start working.